All right, fam, listen. Some of y'all know I am a co host of another show called We Need to Talk Now. And well, that seems about appropriate for today's episode of Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. We're going to play this intro because it's probably about as chipper and cheery as we're going to be on all of today's show. 2 back-to-back losses after leading. What's going on with the New York Liberty? We'll get into that and more on today's episode.
Gotta get up.
Gotta get up.
Gotta get up.
Gotta get up.
Oh yeah.
New York.
Oh yeah.
New York.
Hey, women's basketball fans, welcome to Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans brought to you by Black Rosie Media. I'm Erica L. Ayala.
And I'm Brian Florenson.
And we're your New York Liberty experts and co-hosts. We've covered the 2024 championship run and followed your favorite players all the way to the Paris Olympics.
Every episode, we bring you game recaps, the latest news and transactions, and exclusive interviews with Liberty players and coaches from the past, present, and future that you won't hear anywhere else.
We're building a community for fans who love this game as much as we do. So whether you're part of the Barclays faithful or tuning in from afar, we bring you closer to your
New York Liberty.
Oh yeah.
All right, welcome, Liberty fans. We are here for another episode of Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. Erica L. Ayala alongside Brian Florenton. And hey, Brian, listen, we were talking about a winning streak. We were feeling good about things. We were saying, listen, let's see what happens with Sabrina. She's not going to be coming off of the bench all of the time. And oh, what a difference a week makes, Brian. My goodness.
Yeah, it's so apropos that I'm a little bit under the weather because I feel like that describes the past 2 days for these dudes. And it's like, hey, you had it, you should have had it, then you don't have it. Now everyone's all worked up. So they've got some stuff to figure out.
100%. So we're talking about a Washington Mystics squad on Juneteenth. Like, how you gonna get embarrassed on Juneteenth? You had the choir singing "Lift Every Voice," and you couldn't even lift your game. You couldn't even lift your game up. Now let's talk about that Washington Mystics game because I'm sitting here watching the game. I know you were there. Our other contributor, Alexis and Antonio, I should say, Alexis and Antonio were both there for that game. Brian came through in the clutch with the microphone so we could get those Juneteenth and Unity Night interviews. But I've been saying this for a while, Brian. Washington, not to make it all about the Mystics. I mean, that goes back to our Misha days, right? Washington is a squad that if you don't take care of the game, they're going to take it. They're going to just steal it right from up under you. And so I'm thinking, okay, yes. Did they blow a lead? Yes. And it's Washington. So I was ready to, we were talking in the Slack channel. I was ready to wash the hands. We heard Leonie Fiebig talk about turning the page, right? Just flush it. Jonquel Jones talking about, a few lapses, right? In just execution and things. And so you're like, all right, no big deal. They did what they needed to do to get to the Commissioner's Cup championship. It's not ideal, but it happens. And then last night happened, Brian. Now it's 2 games, right? But why do these 2 games feel these 2 losses? Oops, I gotta fix my microphone. Why is it just me, or do these 2 losses feel devastating in some ways?
I would say it feels, because I think especially when you got a break with Minnesota losing earlier in the day, it's, oh, hey, I could pick up ground on the 1 seed because we'll need that down the line. Well, not we, because I always think here, they don't sign my checks. They would need that down the line. So that's one where they'll need it eventually. And I think especially for a game like this, coming in, the Sparks have been one of the worst defenses in the league. Up until about a week and a half ago, we wrote in the newsletter on pace to be the worst defense in the league history. So the fact that it was a little bit slow to start, but then you pick up, you see the vision of everything laid out the way you want to, and you're really able to build out the big lead. And usually with this group, like as we saw during the Phoenix game, when they got the lead, they went out on a run and kept it there. Like when they beat Indiana, got out to a lead in the fourth quarter, held it. against Atlanta, and Atlanta got out to that lead, built it up. Atlanta got it down to like 12 a few times, but they're never really back in it. So we've seen them be able to shut the door against better competition. So the fact that you couldn't close it down against a team that is, a playoff team, playoff-ish, I'd say, but still, you got them where you want them. You got them up 17, and you're not executing, allowing open shots. A lot of blown bunnies. Like I wrote in my notes last night, there were 2 5-point swings in the game. The first one on the blown Sabrina wide open layup. I think it was I think Atkins hit a 3 right down after, and then later, I think in the same quarter, Stewie misses a layup that she makes 99 times out of 100. It leads to a Sparks 3-point play, and that's 10 points. That's a 10-point swing right there in a 1-point game. And you look at it, and it's you make these shots in your sleep, you're uncontested for a layup. All these things are there. Like, you executed the offense you wanted to. You got the shot you wanted. You just didn't deliver. And then a lapse on the other side. Now the game is a lot closer. The crowd is getting back into it. Now you're on your heels. Your plan of keeping everyone's minutes a little bit low is thrown out the window. Now everyone's got to burn extra energy, and now you lose. So it's a situation where I think they have to. So I don't want to say look in the mirror, because I think that's a bit strong for the circumstances right now. But it's damn. We really gave those up, and we didn't have to, because if they did what I think they should have done, they'd be on a 10-game winning streak going into tomorrow night's matchup. And hey, they would have had a chance to set the team record for consecutive wins. Now that's out the window, and now the conversation is starting to swing the other direction, and that's going to create extra pressure that you didn't need.
Yeah, and on top of that, we already had questions, right? We talked about the wins against Phoenix, and did we feel good about those wins? That was the start of the winning streak that just got snapped. But it was like, are we okay with some of the lapses that are happening here? They were able to win those games, but with all due respect, Phoenix ain't the Phoenix of yesteryear. It's not the Sandy Brondello Phoenix Mercury, and it's not girl boss, or girl boss. That's a whole different thing. Girl dad, maybe his. I mean, maybe one of his daughters will be a girl boss, but right now, girl dad season 1.0. I mean, there were a lot of things that were different. It almost seems night and day. So those are wins that you don't feel comfortable, just maybe it's more of a pride thing. I don't know. But, if you look at the standings and where you are, where you expect to be, where you want to be, and you're having trouble with Phoenix, I mean, was the writing on the wall? And here's the thing, Brian. If we had those questions against Phoenix and they came up again against, oh, okay. I wish I could show y'all, but one of the puppers I'm taking care of, they have a little bell for when they want to go outside.
Oh,
this child really wants to go. Hold on. Brian, why don't you take this away? Let me get this puppy together.
Sure. I will. Our pup friend is going to take over for a bit, so I'm here. And I think for what happened last night especially, we saw them execute well for the most part as far as getting the shots they wanted early on. They're getting into the paint. We're seeing a more engaged and active Satu Sabally. We're seeing the group really get where they need to go. Pauline Astier had another fantastic outing where she's able to get downhill, create pressure in that regard, and she was able to really excel and be someone that Chris DeMarco could trust, especially later on in the game. So you saw a lot of the good foundation when it came to the group. What the big thing I wrote in my notes is that all the missed layups really threw the team off, and it allowed LA to get back in. Even though they did a successful job against Kelsey Plum on the whole, they allowed Ray Burrell to get hot. Nneka was able to really figure things out as the game progressed, and New York really wasn't able to take full advantage in the ways that they should have. So I think following these games, and with another big game tomorrow night, and then one Sunday evening, it's a situation where they have a lot to clean up, they have a lot to organize, and they have a lot to sort of fine tune. And I think that comes with rotation questions. I think that comes with allocation of minutes, a lot of things that I think are better to. Hello, pup.
Hello. Oh, this poor little thing. Okay, so they have this is not anything to do with what Brian was saying, which is amazing. But so their owners have these little bells for when they want to go out. They've been trained. This poor pup, it's stuck in her paw. It's
Oh,
stuck in her paw. So I'm still gonna have to figure this out. I'm so sorry,
oh
y'all.
no.
I usually leave the door open when I'm recording, but they just went outside. Oh, poor baby. This is Cora. Poor
Oh,
Cora. She got the
hello.
she got the bell caught in her paw.
Oh,
Man. So I'm gonna try to hold her calm for right now. But I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
yeah. I was saying that I think following these games, we'll have to see. I think Chris will have to sort of see what what the minutes allocation looks like, and as far as how to really keep certain players on the court for maybe different longer stretches in some regard, and being able to sort of like fine tune and figure out what the rotation is. Because last night he played Beck Allen in both halves, and I thought Beck was okay. Honestly, I know a lot of fans are down on her these days because of some early struggles, but she was solid early on. She was part of the unit in the second quarter that went on a run to build the lead up a little bit. She hit a three in the third quarter, so I think there's something there. It's just a matter of figuring out how to sort of like see if there's more room for her if possible. But we'll see
Right.
on that front. Raquel got a quick stint, and I know that's another player that people have been looking for to sort of like have in the rotation, and especially as a way to monitor Brandon Stewart's minutes. So that's another thing he'll have to figure out. But then you run into the eternal problem every coach has is you can't play 12 every game, or very rarely, unless you're up at like 1,000 every night, which that's the case, great. But you're gonna have to figure out what your best 9 or 10 is. And to Sharice's point, playing too many people, think I think now with Satu Sabali getting more active, she played a season high in minutes last night. It's a situation where you can kind of, as you sit Brianna Stewart and keep her minutes low, Satu can swing into those 4 minutes and do what she needs to do in that respect. So I think there's still plenty of room to build out and establish that foundation that JJ was telling me about on Friday. But it's going to be a little bit choppy for now, but not impossible.
Yeah, and so as we saw Sharice, oh, this poor thing, she's really uncomfortable. All right, we're gonna get this figured out. Might be a shorter episode, y'all. I'm so sorry, but you could hear she was very frantic. But calming her down now, heart rate's going down. We're good, we're good. Al and Sharice talking about rotations. And for those who are in our Slack community, Brian, we were gonna set up to talk about this anyway. And people on the social media streets wondering if it's time to start Satu. I like giving Satu some starting minutes. I really do. We talked a little bit about Raquel. You just mentioned her a little bit. That was another player that people had questions about. Y'all know I've been saying it. I know Brian just mentioned it. But I haven't had an issue with Rebecca Allen. There are some liabilities at times and against certain matchups, I think. But I thought it was good to see her in the rotation. But let's talk about something that I saw a lot of people talking about, and I believe it was Jackie Powell asking about the status update. We didn't post it for yesterday's episode, but in the Slack channel, the status report was clean, Brian, but we did not see Benajelani Hamilton.
Yeah. Initially, I was like, that's a curious decision on his part. And then I saw Lucas make the point that maybe it's one of those things where you just want to get her in uniform. And since you just spent the day traveling from east to west, you might just want to give her an extra day, even though she is available. It's, let me just give you a chance to sort of like see how it feels and warm up and everything like that, and then we'll deploy you in full the next time out, and then we go from there. So I'm gonna assume that's the case. I'll give the team the benefit of the doubt because I think that B fits a lot of needs for this group, like another player who can get their own shot, can initiate the offense, can keep things steady and calm for the group. And we've seen proof of concept with her. She was key to the Atlanta win a few weeks back. So there is productivity with her in within Chris's plans already, and we have proof of concept of that as so far. So I think we'll see her Tuesday against Vegas. Like she's a player that's done well against him in the past, and Vegas, especially with Gray and Young, can help manage those matchups a little bit as well too, instead of just having Leo try to toggle through and figure out as much of it as she can by herself. So I think we'll see B get a bigger role on Tuesday. And to Al Page's point, they do need her healthy. And I think for all the players, but Benaja especially, it's gonna be a lot of like pitch count management, where it's we don't want to burn you out on, we don't want to have you throw like 130 pitches early in the season. We want to really nurse you
Okay,
through.
baseball analogy, let's go.
Yeah, so that way you get her through the regular season. Then when the playoffs start, you can really, excuse me, turn her loose in a lot of respects. And I will say, even though she didn't play yesterday, that's still a game you should have won anyway. So I see people, I saw some comments, I saw not in here, but just like on socials in general, where it's, she didn't play, that's why they lost last night. And it's like, nah, you're good enough to beat that team anyway. And you should have.
100%.
And you did the thing you wanted to do in the third quarter. Like you went on the run and you had them down, and you had their best player who just came back from a calf injury. You had her be a non-factor. So you were doing the things you wanted to do. You just didn't hold it for all 40, which is that's the thing that y'all gotta figure out. And then it's and then I think especially in between just like execution things, just basic stuff. You can't split free throws down just twice. Like once is a bad thing, but twice happening, especially in a game where the flow of the game is starting to shift against you. And then once LA got that lead, it's, oh boy, this building is fully engaged. When you had Staples Center completely quiet for much of the night, like you were doing the stuff you wanted to do, but then you just let them back in, you split free throws, couple of 3 seconds calls, couple of bad turnovers, and then just starts to cascade from there. So I think now a game like that, it just allows you to sort of figure out where the gaps are with the team. And I think especially, we'll get to it in a little bit, but the final play was a communication breakdown, because they had it sniffed out. Like they did the thing they wanted to. And in the post game with ESPN Sports Center, Erica Wheeler mentioned that the play was designed for somebody else, and they sniffed out. And then
yes, Erica Wheeler read that play beautifully. So you know what? We had this a little bit later in the show, but let's talk about it now, because I think it, first of all, listen to me. Are you listening, Cora? Are you listening? She's still a little shaken up, poor thing. First of all, I have to say, I know this is a podcast for New York Liberty fans, but I'm so happy for Nneka. Oh my gosh. Like the emotions, people trying to downplay her game, her actual game, and just call her Madam President as if all she's good for is, negotiate CBAs. Not that that's anything to, to poo-poo, but your girl can still play. All right. Yeah. She's out here hooping 50%. She was 2 of 4, I believe it was, from outside. And and perhaps it's because I host a New York Liberty podcast. You talked about a communication issue. It looked like JJ shaded down because Kelsey Plum was there as Erica Wheeler is driving and getting ready to kick. And you see, as she's contorting her body to kick the ball out, she reads the defense and notices that Pauline Astier and JJ go in the same direction, leaving Nneka wide open.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one of those things where the action was for KP to come, because like Nneka sets the screen, Plum heads to the corner in the far corner, and JJ sniffs it out. She's got it. And if Pauline doesn't do the extra help over there, Erica's not going to get that pass over JJ's arms and body. It's impossible at that point. So I think for Pauline, it's a you mean well, because it's that's the best. That's by the numbers, that's the second leading scorer in the league, and that's someone who is a dead eye from three. You throw out the 1 for 8 on the night because all you need is 1 3, and Kelsey Plum can make a 3 whenever.
She can do it.
Yeah,
she can do it.
So
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
so my brain understands why they both went there, but then it's a situation where you don't want to leave anybody open. So and since you see JJ there, just you stay. It's scrambled, but you stay with Nneka, and if she catches it over, you just make it as hard as possible. But when that happens, and then two people go the same way, because Chris sees it too. Like he sees the action, he's pointing for someone to rotate over to KP in the corner, and I think Pauline might have misinterpreted, thinking it's just going to be her going there,
Right.
and then that's where everything falls apart. So that's one of those small things, and I think especially for a rookie guard, like this is another learning experience for Pauline, because in the Portland game a few weeks back that ended with the Barker game winner, Pauline had the 3 in the key in the final seconds, and it's hey, they'll never call that. But they did that time. So, and then this is a situation where, sometimes Erica will be making some bonkers decisions with the ball. Not this time.
This time.
Yeah, she faked y'all out and then she hit it. And to Damien's point, that's their fault. Like if you do what you need to do, you're not in a situation where Nneka can game you at the end like that. So that's the thing. To Sharice's point, I guess I could see it. It's a situation where maybe you want Leia to press higher, but I think sometimes within that is sometimes if you press high, if you extend the press out really high like that and you get beat, now you're at a disadvantage. So I think in that situation, I thought Leia played it well because a 2 doesn't beat you anyway. So Wheeler is looking to drive as it is, and Leo's in front of her. And if everything is as it was, Erica is in the air with nowhere to go, and then her only option left is to take a contested runner over an outstretched Leo. So I thought in that instance she did everything right. I'd have to watch it back a 4th time to sort of see where everybody else is positioned on the court when it comes to that, or even if Chris would have been better off subbing in a Beck Gardner for Pauline in that moment. But split a two free throw situation, no timeouts, a little bit shaky to say, but it's a lot of foul in that situation. No, because up to. Yeah, and I think they're in the bonus too. So in a situation like that, I think you just gotta ride it out. And even if Stewie made both, this is just I think this is a situation where my basketball philosophy is just that I don't believe in fouling up 3. I'm like, play, get a stop, go home. Like
Right.
too much tomfoolery can happen with the foul. Even
100%.
there was one situation in the corner where the Sparks got an offensive rebound and it looked like Ray Burrell was fouled on a 3-pointer, but luckily it was just 2. So my brain always defaults to, hey, do not foul, just play defense, get a stop. Like y'all got it. I believe in y'all to get me this 1 stop, and then we go home from there. And then if we get beat, we get beat. But I wouldn't. Right. I just don't believe in fouling. That's just me.
I want to also go back to something that Stewie mentioned, and we've talked about on the podcast before. And I actually was the one who wanted to clarify what she meant. She was talking about the offense for Chris DeMarco almost being similar to how he wants them to think on defense. But specifically when she said this team is on defense, she wants to make sure that, they're not over switching. That was something that we heard in training camp. And the communication breakdown, I'm being very critical of that because we know it's something that Stewie in particular brought up as something that was evidently clear that the DeMarco system requires. And so, yes, it's a rookie. And it's how many games into the season, right? Where you would think that if that's a communication thing, just in general, you want to see the team execute a little bit better. But then especially you want to see the team execute when the game is what it is. So that to me was a lapse in communication. You kind of look at the players that were a little deeper into the paint, right? And they are in shock, in absolute shock. Like what happened? And and it just was unfortunately not a solid defensive play. But we know, and we've talked about, Brian, that this team, even putting aside Benajelini Hamilton, this team is not the same defensive team that they were last year, and especially not in the 2024 season.
Yeah, I think especially with the roster shifting and evolving and things of that nature, and now they're incorporating so many different things. I think they still have the potential to be really good on defense. Because even in the early stages in the game, I wrote in my notes they were up 12. I think they were plus 10 on the boards at halftime. So it's a situation where their size and length really sort of like shine through, and they were really able to muscle the Sparks just about every time down. They made it so where players like a Kelsey Plum and Eric Wheeler just were non-factors and trying to help on the inside. They were able to do what they needed to do, and they have that option of having one guard and four really fantastic athletic wings and centers on the court at all times. So, Cora is doing okay, I think.
This poor little, I know, I'm sorry, but they keep her nails, her claws pretty long, and it's stuck in the bell. It's stuck
Oh,
I
shoot.
know. So I'm trying to keep her calm until I can get
Yeah,
in there. But she's like, put me down. Poor thing. Put me down.
Poor puppers.
Poor Cora. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. She got a little throat today. Oh, poor thing. I can feel her little heartbeat. She's so anxious right now. Anyway, yeah, I think that it definitely was. It's a few different things, right? And again, are we nitpicking? Probably. And I mean, we know who they have coming up next, right? You can't make these mistakes. Vegas feeling pretty good. They got whomped by Dallas. They had time off, and then they handled business against Golden State. That is a much better defensive team, not as great offensively, I would say, still working up, but you know that the Vegas Aces defense is going to be solid. They're going to speed you up. And so, that's, to me, that's something that not only is the New York Liberty, Brian, going to be looking at, I'm sure, ahead of tomorrow night's game. But you got to believe that Becky Hammond is going to have her Aces team ready and exposing what seems to be a weakness, and in part is the communication and at times the over switching.
Yeah, and I think especially for a matchup like tomorrow, it serves as a cup preview, but also more importantly, a playoff preview down the line. If these teams cross paths again, which they almost certainly will. So this is a moment for the group where they can really iron out a lot of things that have been messing up in the past two games, while also looking to build upon the things that have been working. Like they even going into last night's game, I want to say they were fourth in the league in rebounding. So they're able to be successful on the glass. They're able to be physical. They're able to do these things on a high level. Now it's just a matter of doing it long enough. So that way, when you do get that lead, you keep it there and you make it so that way the opponent doesn't have a chance to get back. I think with tomorrow night's game, we'll see how they try to target weaker players on Vegas, like Stephanie Talbot, if they can really sort of like punish Melissa Smith if possible, really make Jewel Lloyd a non-factor in certain regards. So it'll be an opportunity for them to sort of see what advantages and holes they can poke at on the Vegas side, because they're still not at full strength. Kennedy Carter has been out for a while. I'm not sure if she's back tomorrow, but
well, listen, Sabrina Merchant, I have not listened to the whole episode yet, but Sabrina Merchant joined Sarah Spain and seems to be under the impression, per her sources, that Kennedy Carter might not finish the season with the Vegas Aces.
Yeah, I saw that clip and I was like, oh boy. And Sabrina is plugged in on a high level across the league, so she knows her stuff. And I think if if this does blow up for Kennedy Carter, it's really
That's tough.
it would be really, really rough
Thank
because
you, Black
it's
Metronome. Thank
yeah.
you, Black
The
Metronome.
fuck has been. Yeah, and for Carter, if this doesn't go well, it's you wonder what's next because this
I know.
we all said that, oh, hey, get a coach that is, solid in what they do. You have a professional outfit, a serious organization. And if it doesn't work and your role is to just score and just be manageable enough on defense and it can't hold over the course of a regular season and a playoff run, it does give off a lot more concern, I would say. And then now you're looking at this would be team
LA, Chicago. Was she in Atlanta or did I make that
yeah 2020 yeah
up? Okay.
yeah that this would be team number 4 where it doesn't end well. And for a lot of them you can be like, oh, hey, the Sparks organization at that point just wasn't where it needs to be, might still not be there, the dream at that time not where you wanted it to be, the sky not where you wanted it to be. And if it happens here and it doesn't go well, it's it's not. Vegas has had their problems with management and how and their things with players in the past couple of years, and we've documented, it's been documented and gone to court in some instances. But if it doesn't go well this time and it's just strictly on the court for you, it's oh wow, you've made it through almost a quarter of the league and it's not gone well, and you've only been a professional for about 6 years. What is like? Because it can't be everybody. At a point, it's oh, hey, it's this. Maybe you're not the fit for what we want on a team going forward. But who knows? And then if she gets,
tough.
if she gets back and things are smooth, it'll be water under the bridge. And then it's just, oh, how about you sort of like get back to being our super 6 woman off the bench, and then you go
good. Oh, jeez. So good off the bench. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Liberty legend Teresa Weatherspoon, it's been very well documented, had a conversation, or Becky Hammond had a conversation with Teaspoon about Kennedy Carter. And, it's amazing that Teaspoon is still going to bat she goes to bat for a lot of people, and that's just who she is. And, I think it maybe just speaks to other things that Carter still needs to work through. And that is, I'm not reporting that and I'm not judging it. Those things happen. How you communicate, right? Or how things play out. Those are, that's life. That is life.
To that point, I feel like I'm losing so much sense of time these days because she's still super young, but she's been in the W on about 6 years, like 5, 6 years.
It's so wild.
And it's like, time really is zipping by, and it's dang.
It is.
I remember when you were drafted in your house during COVID when Walter.
Hey, well, I'm telling you, and that's how I feel about Sabrina Ionescu. I'm like, what do you mean it's year 6? And on that note, we got to talk about the Ionescu factor because we talked about it. We played the clip last episode, Brian. She's saying, she's willing to do whatever the team needs, doesn't think it's going to be permanent, that she's coming off of the bench. But I do think the usage and the time that she has been in the game, we're not looking at vintage. We're not looking at peak Ionescu right now. Is it a concern for you, Brian?
I would say right now, no. Only because I think the important thing last night after the game, our pal Maddie Kenny from the Post is in LA covering the team, and she spoke with Sabrina. She's asking her how she was, and Sab said she's fine physically. And I think that's a great sign because if her health wasn't where it needed to be and there was a flare-up or a problem, I think that would be a major red flag and a huge alarm for me. But I think the fact that she's good physically is promising because, hey, even though, she's struggling on the court right now, her health is apparently where it needs to be. So now it's just a matter of shaking off a lot of rust, getting getting things lined up where it needs to be. And even last night, that layup she blew, like it was off great action. And it's like, oh, this is picture perfect. And you got a wide open lane, everybody's spaced out. There's no help coming in anywhere. You just blew it. And it happens like that sometimes. But hey, I'd rather you at the very least work through it. And I think it's a tough situation for Chris because you want to play a player who's doing really well in Pauline, but at the same time, you want to get Sabrina minutes because the best way to shake off rust in basketball is to play basketball. So you got to shake it off. And I wonder if we'll see her and Pauline pair more as a 2-guard lineup kind of thing. And you just have like 3 really clutch defenders and like a Sabri, Jones, whatever. You can sort of like play around with combinations in the front court with those 2 in the back court. So I think I want to see how Chris utilizes her a little bit more throughout this trip and seeing how many minutes he can get for her and seeing if maybe getting her off the ball a little bit would help, having people initiate for her a little bit more. Hey, she looks a little bit happier. That's good.
She's definitely more squirmy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to keep her. Okay. I'm going to hold on to her until I can figure this out, or else she's going to be jingle. You want to talk about jingle jangle? That's what it is. She just wanted to come on here and jingle jangle when we were talking about Sabrina Ionescu. But I'm with you, Brian. It's rust for Sab. It's tough because she is going to get a lot of critique and criticism, right? And we have to be patient with her. That's what I've said before. She's come back from injury before, but still working herself to peak Sabrina. And it's just unfortunate that as soon as we think we're going to get peak Sabrina or the strongest Sabrina, the quickest Sabrina that we've ever gotten, then she gets another injury. And I know before on previous episodes, people were wondering, oh, does that mean she's injury prone? I don't know what how much is too much when it comes to basketball, right? Yeah. There's so many players and athletes that are dealing with things that we don't always hear about. I don't know that I would say she's injury prone, especially when there's a Sabali on her team again. I mean, with all due respect, but if ever they were injury prone athletes, that would be where I would put that. Okay. She's like, get me out of here. But I do want to ask you a little bit about, the fact that down the wire, it was Pauline and not Sabrina that we saw in the game.
Yeah, I was okay with it. Like Pauline, great decision maker, got downhill and made all her free throws down the stretch, which great sign for her, where you can trust her to be on the court and not worry about nerves getting to her on the free throw line. So even though they failed in the big test of getting the win, Pauline passed her individual test of being someone that Chris could count on down the stretch. So I think just having her out there was good, and Pauline was given good minutes as it was. So I was okay with it, and having a guard like her, almost there, up, come on, there you go, settled. I like it. Yeah, success. So Chris having her out there, I liked it. It's a great boost of confidence for her, and she's been on the court down the stretch before. So this was another good sort of like run for her in that respect. And I like it for her because in the event that something happens to a key player in the starting lineup, she's shown that she's someone that they can count on and trust to be solid and successful. So I think it works out well. And you never want to have it's always a good problem to have a lot of really good players who deserve minutes. So having her out there and having her being successful and confident in what she's doing and being sure of herself at the free throw line, I think is very solid and a very promising development.
I would agree. This child is scratching me up, y'all. This is crazy. Damien, listen, earlier you said she's not a good player. It's time to move on from Sabrina. I don't think that. I do agree with what we're seeing here is that Sabrina off of the ball. Now, who, pray tell, Brian, has been asking this question since the COVID draft in how, where, and with whom Sabrina plays with? I believe It's this one. No, not this one. This is Cora. I believe it's me. I can't raise my hand because I got a doggy in my hands. This has been the question. And I just feel like I hate that this might be the season. And with these last performances, especially with Pauline right there, that this might be the year that the Liberty put Sabrina in a tough spot because they haven't figured this out completely yet.
Yeah.
I do think she's better off the ball, or at most at a hybrid position and not as the point guard.
Yeah, I think to Kay Lang's point, I think it's a fair one because you want her making decisions and we trust her to sort of get where she needs to go. I think Sab is a good screener as a guard, and I think being able to invert a lot of stuff, have Stewie JJ pick and rolls, have Leo initiate pick and rolls, because I wrote in my notes yesterday early, Leo was able to find JJ on a wing 3 off a pick and roll action. So I think as Sabrina is sort of getting the basketball muscle back to where it needs to be, being able to tap into a player like Leonie Fiebig a little bit more and having her really sort of like explore her game in a more exciting and dynamic context is helpful. Like she mentioned it, I think she mentioned it Friday, where everyone's like, hey, how about you shoot more? And I'm like, hey, Leo, how about you initiate offense a little bit more? I want to see that too, because Leo can do it. So I think as Sabrina's working her way up to where she needs to be, empowering someone like a Leo is going to be helpful and valuable, because you can always go back to it in the future, where if it's just Sabrina on the ball and it's, oh, hey, she doesn't have him on the ball, our offense is completely bonked right now, what do we do? You can be like, oh, Leo can initiate, Satu is really strong, getting downhill, getting to the rim. You have Pauline coming in off the bench. So as Sabrina's working her way up, everyone else around her is empowered. But to Kayling's point, I would like to see more involvement for her because I think she's really good. And I think she does a lot of things well for this group. And I think especially having another guard to get in is helpful. And I think to Al's point there, she says she's fine. So
is this the point you meant? I'll put the others one on the screen. Ooh, come on, where my dogs at? Continue. I promise this is a serious podcast.
Yeah. So I think I think it was Albert Jimenez's point. She says she's healthy physically, and I'm gonna take her at her word for it. So I think it's a situation where you just gotta like play through it. You just gotta keep out there, keep firing, keep shooting, keep playing, keep trying to get downhill, keep communicating, because you can sit as long as possible, but then even if she were to hit a marker physically where I think is university of like, oh, she's back physically, now it's the time where, oh, you just haven't been playing basketball. And then you have I've got to get familiar and get these things locked in. And so I guess to that point, before the game, I was looking up some lineup stats, and the starting 5 last night of Sabrina, Leo, Satu, Stewie, and JJ had only played 6 minutes leading up to this point. And I think especially for the team, you want to figure out what lineups work, and you need a large number of minutes to determine it. Because you don't want to just use like a 30-minute lineup and be like, oh, this just isn't going to work. You got to see certain things over different contexts, different games, different game settings. So I think getting these minutes now is valuable and meaningful because you can sort of see what works, what doesn't, where you can improve on, and what's real and what's of like noise in certain things. So I think getting these lineups together now, I think is critical, and it's going to be something that will really help in the future.
Mm-hmm. I want to start putting a bow on the Sabrina conversation, but I do think also having a conversation about the inconsistencies or maybe the wear and tear that we're seeing on Breanna Stewart and the lack of, at times, what honestly just feels to me, it's not really execution for JJ, but she doesn't seem to be willing or able, I don't know, to kind of take over games where I think she can. or where she's needed to kind of step up. And I do think that it is worth noting that her ability to shoot from range is huge because of what she can do from the defensive side. But also, another part of keeping the defense honest is being in the paint. And I feel like I talk about this all the time. But Brian, between Sabrina having some struggles, Stewie perhaps feeling fatigued, and JJ, not being when JJ gets a double-double, the New York Liberty win version of herself, are there concerns about the core overall?
I think I think I'm leaning the opposite way, at least in the JJ piece. I think because like even in the run where they got it to 17, like it was JJ splashing threes and really sort of like drawing Nneka away from the basket that got a lot of things hot for the group. So I think my brain with JJ always leans into I want her to explore the full aspect of the basketball court because I trust her to be solid everywhere you put her. So if it's pick and pops, if it's her initiating from the elbow, if it's her rolling hard to the basket, if she's able to do all these things, I think we get a full picture of the basketball unicorn that is Jonquel Jones. And I always want to explore as much of that as possible. I think, but to your bigger point, I will say establishing more of an inside presence is always meaningful for this group because they still lead. I think they're like top 2 or 3 in field goal percentage inside the restricted area. So when they get down there, it's a guaranteed bucket every time. And the best offense is getting into the paint as much as you can because defenses have to really adjust and collapse and sort of like configure to prevent those from happening. So if they're able to get success in the painted area, that really allows them to get where they need to be elsewhere on the court. So I think it's a push and pull in that respect where I want them to really space out the floor, but in the service of getting really good paint opportunities. So I think we'll sort of see where that goes tomorrow night with Vegas. If they're able to have success in the paint, they'll make it really tough for Asia Wilson on the inside. Hopefully, possibly get her in foul trouble as well too, and then you test that Vegas depth that may or may not be there. So if you're able to succeed and do what you need to do, you're able to take full advantage and use your size as a deterrent to what Vegas does. But we'll see. I think there's still some things to sort of iron out on the offensive front because like right now I think they're solid, but they have a chance to be sensational once everything locks in the way they want it to.
And that's the thing. I do think that there's still a lot of potential. This is maybe not necessarily the same situation as when they had injuries, but it is residual of those injuries or the players arriving late. So I'm trying to be patient there, but I think we can say not great, not ideal, especially going into Vegas. And here's the thing. There are few players on this Liberty squad that have the sandpaper that I think is required to be like, oh, well, they just dropped 2 games that they could have won. So now they're going to, go ahead and, sorry for the team who comes next, but now they're going to handle business. There's sometimes a lack of that sandpaper where I'm like, okay, is that what's going to happen? But I like the point you mentioned that Lucas brought up or observed, maybe holding off Benajelani Hamilton and having her more rested for tomorrow's game, having Stewie feel some kind of way, maybe having JJ and Leo feel some kind of way. Because even at that game, Brian, right? Against Washington, she admitted that she knows that people want her to get more aggressive. She doesn't like forcing things. And we might need her to get out a little bit outside of the comfort box when it comes to, and I don't want to use the term forcing. I think I understand what she means, especially because she's such a cerebral, I would say a defensive minded player. Anytime you kind of force things defensively, you're usually you're overexposing yourself. So if that's how she thinks the game, I can understand that. And then is that then on Chris DeMarco and her backcourt to game plan, right? And to set up things to get her going if she's not going to necessarily seek her own shot.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 because there's so much great talent on the team, and it's I want to get Satu Sabli as as engaged as possible. Like she was great on Friday night, but then the minutes are low, and it's like, your minutes are a little bit low, and it's maybe you should have played more, and maybe you should have started, or maybe this could have worked differently. And it's always a push and pull with like a good offense, because every offense wants to be as egalitarian as possible, but there are other times where you get to a point where it's just give the best player the ball and get the heck out the way and let them do what they do. So it's a catch-22 here. K Lang, this point is hilarious. They've been at it for 3 years at this point, and it's funny every time. Like the first instance I remember that happening was like when KP tried to chest bump her because Leo was in her way, and then Leo just was like a statue the whole time. And yes, she did square up, and someone had to hold Leo by the stomach to just sort of move her away. Like it's Leo, like Leo's like my favorite to be around, because she's not like she doesn't try to be like funny per se, but like she's just like so basketball serious it becomes funny, and it's like
and she's German, so she's got that like deadpan, which is just phenomenal. And I do think, I don't know that she's necessarily doing it for laughs. I think she enjoys being deadpan and sarcastic when people ask her questions because she's so witty. Leo's cool with me.
There are so many times like we'll ask a question and it's very much like as I said, I'm like, all right, you got it, big dog. I feel you did say that. So let me see if I can freak it a different way. So that way I get you a question that's sort of worth your time and makes it enjoyable for you too. So it's fun with her.
All right. We are I know usually we have a 2-hour marathon, but this little pupper is in need of some attention. Not just the affection that she's getting sitting here with me, but we got to get this paw free. So let's go to fourth quarter. Brian, I do think there are some other things that we want to get into here, including, it was the 30th anniversary to the date, the first, two of the first in original franchises going head to head. It was really a phenomenal game. And again, stick taps, kudos to Nneka for getting that shot. But let's go to the fourth quarter, because we did have some questions that came in from Steven that were starred from earlier. So let's go to those. What's worse, losing by blowout or losing a close game? For context, 2 out of the 4 losses by the Aces were by over 25 points. Now, that's an interesting question. I think it honestly depends on the athlete, depends on the team, Brian.
Yeah, I think
and the time of the season, I would say.
Yeah. I think close game, because you have those moments where you just sort of like replay particular things where it's like, oh man, if I just took one step this way, or I did this thing another way, you get to a point where you start reflecting in your head about a close loss. Blowouts are sometimes like you just get your butt whooped. It happens. And Vegas, unfortunately for them, has gotten their butts whooped by Dallas a couple times this year. And it's very much like top 10 in all-star voting. Jess Shep has taken it to Vegas all season. And we'll get to all-star in a month. But top 10, Jess Shep, I'm with it. Jess Shep, you good in my book.
Okay. I love it. This is an interesting one. Steven asking, which team's problems would you trade the Liberty's problems for? If your answer is the Lynx, why can't we just shelve Ionescu until Collier comes back? Listen, first of all, y'all are wild. But I mean, well, I mean, maybe the first or the second question goes along with the first. Yeah. I think I kind of already said it, Brian, right? If I felt that this were a team where they can get their butt whooped, a full BTA beatdown, and then bounce back with some sandpaper and like the Aces, I would take that. I think I might take that. This team, and maybe that's why you asked these two questions. Now I'm thinking about it, because the close games, losing the close games, but it's not even that they're close. They're close because they did some of the work early, Brian. 17-point lead.
Yeah. And
on the road.
Yeah, on the road, and my basketball brain is still adjusting to the idea of like a 17-point game being a 5 possession game, and two really good well timed runs can get you back in the game pretty quickly now in 2026 basketball, but still 17-17. So it's like, oh, you're 17-17 and you're better than them anyway. So it's, oh, you know, it's, I know basketball world is different in 2026 as compared to like even 2022, but still 17-17. So it's still one of those things where you wonder. For teams' problems, I would trade. I guess that depends. I guess we can do like a quick little exercise as to the problems for like the contenders are. I'll take Atlanta. So I guess their problem per se is they haven't had Bree Jones all year. So no Breezy. So you're gonna have to integrate her eventually with Angel and everything in between. That's a good problem to have for
That's true.
Minnesota not having Dorka and Fee. And I saw a snippet yesterday from Cheryl. They're supposed to be evaluated in July. And I believe the original reporting from way back in the winter was end of June would be when Fee came back. So the fact that beginning of June, even worse. Yeah. So the fact that we're going to be careening towards the All-Star break with no Nafisa Collier is a big problem. And I think for Minnesota, it's, what do we do when she does get back? We'll have to get her up to speed. I don't think she's played with Natasha Howard before, so that's going to be new for her. Obviously, not played with Olivia Miles before. Now it's how many minutes do you play her? How do you adjust the starting lineup? Do you move Court to the bench? Do you slide K-Max to the bench? You do all these kind of things. So now it's an integration issue where you're getting her up to speed. You're getting her back on the court after almost a year away following her injuries in the Phoenix series and beforehand. So it's a lot to handle. I would say for Vegas's problems are, for me, it's always who's going to be useful outside of the big three. That's been their problem for God knows how long. They usually get away with it because Asia Wilson is so amazing. It's, hey, it don't matter that we ain't really got nobody else, or that we're not using the developmental roster spots. None of that. It don't matter because Asia Wilson is the universe, and the universe revolves around Asia Wilson. So you get away with it. That's a problem to have. I guess on the other, I'd say those are like those.
Yeah,
four
I
are
think
the big
honestly,
contenders.
those are the only problems I'm willing to even consider.
Yeah, because
Those are champagne problems.
Yeah, because like you sort of like go across the WNBA landscape. It's you take the Sparks, can't defend, and Cam is out again. So big problems. Phoenix, it looks like everything is completely falling apart in a really concerning way. So that's a big problem.
Yeah. No, I'm not even entertaining some of the other problems.
Yeah.
Now, Damian again is the glass half empty. It's not even half empty. The glass is shattered against the wall somewhere. If we take Damian's comments here, but I think it is interesting because it came up. We had that little video that made waves when Aloysius over here asking for trades. Do you think that the Liberty would benefit from any kind of trade or roster movement this year?
I really know, only because I think I'm like a sentimental sucker in a lot of regards, where I'm like, oh, these players are cool, they're good to be around, and they're helpful, they should stay put, kind of thing. And also, I think making a move and then having to integrate a new player in on sudden notice is really challenging.
That seems to be a little bit of the challenge right now.
Yeah, and we saw last year the problems of integrating a really talented player on the fly, and it didn't hit the way we thought it would. So doing that again this year would be a daunting task, and for a rookie head coach at that, who's still getting his way in to things in the league. So I'd say that's I don't think they would. And WNBA trades are always hard to pull off mid-season. Like, very rarely do you get the big time trades. It's almost like the ones that usually happen are more like on that mid to lower tier kind of player in a lot of respects. So it wouldn't be a situation where I think it'd be worth it for them to do anything when it comes to like making a move. So I wouldn't. And Al Page asks how many teams would love to have a roster. I'd say Dang. With the exception of maybe Minnesota and Vegas, just about everybody, right? Because I think the Liberty are for as talented and as good as Atlanta has been, I think the Liberty are better and more built for success in the postseason than Atlanta. I
Right.
think everybody else is. I don't think they come close. You take your pick. I don't think they match up.
Right.
So
And I agree with you, Brian. That's why the question for me has been, all things equal or very similar, what does it come down to? We know what the answer is. It comes down to coaching.
yeah,
And you've got a starter head coach, had some head coaching experience, but a starter head coach in the WNBA going up against Cheryl Reeve, going up against Stephanie White, going up against, Sandy Brondello. It's not impossible.
yeah,
But how many books on the New York Liberty are teaching you how to coach Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu, Leonie Fiebig, Maureen Johannes, Pauline Astier, Rebecca Gardner, Rebecca Allen? How many New York Liberty books can you read to prepare adequately for that?
yeah. I will say, not to make it about another team, but on the Stephanie White front, sister, you got some headaches over there. I do not envy your job right now.
Well, listen, thankfully,
tell you.
Brian, this is not an Indiana Fever
Yeah.
podcast, so we ain't got to talk about it. We ain't got to talk about it.
Boy, a lot of discourse there, and I was gonna spend a little bit of time on them in this other week. I'm like, nah, another day. Like Steph,
Another day.
we spent enough time getting at the organization and that roster enough. I'm like, you deserve a nice night off from the discourse, coach White, because God knows y'all need it. Because whoo boy, but to the Chris point in general, I think it's especially now that you're in the big chair, you've got to really the bottom. Damn, dude, they're like in third place. Shit.
What barrel? What bottom of what barrel? Like,
Bottom of
come
what?
on. So
No. Oh, hold on. I mean, bottom of the barrel team wise. No.
even that, I saw that, and I'm like, okay, and my face is the same. Like, what are we talking about?
Come on, Damien. They're fine. Like they had some awful losses, but they'll be fine. Like,
I mean, it's just come on. It's the sense, like the doom and gloom. You talking about fire and desire? I'm talking about doom and gloom.
Boy, I'd love to
That's your right hand, left hand.
just to see what are the sports teams that Damien roots for, because I feel like I think I have a beat as to what two of them are in particular.
I feel like, yeah.
I feel like I know two offhand, and for one of them, you should be incredibly happy right now, and you should be on cloud nine for the rest of eternity. But I'd have to get a feel for where Damien's teams are to get a full beat as to like what the rooting interest and team expectations are across the board.
I mean, Damien wasn't even happy in 2024. That's what we want. Like, what we doing? Excuse me, my shirt will stay on. Thank you very much. This is not that kind of party. It is not this. Save that for the OnlyFans. What are we doing? Come on now. Come on, Cora. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. You know, Margot's got money problems over here. Like, anyway, on that note, listen, there's definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to this New York Liberty squad. I'm going to give, not only because she's over here panting and I got to do some surgery on a little bell here to get this out of her claw. But I want to listen, is it ideal to see Stewie miss those layups, miss those free throws? Absolutely not. It's not great. But you know what? I'm not going to add anything to the fire. Stewie does more than enough for this organization. Now, if it happened again, we still got to call the games, right? We still got to analyze the team. But for right now, I'm going to give her a pass. We've talked a little bit about Sabrina. I hear what you're saying when it comes to Jonquel Jones. And you're right. The gravity, right? That's the big term that everyone's using this year, or the stat. The gravity, it makes sense. And again, it's just a little bit, I don't like the ratio. And I've been saying it for years. I don't like the ratio. So, you know, listen, Orthodox Moore, we're gonna have to get to this on another podcast. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that. This is loaded. This is loaded right here. We have to see though what Chris is gonna do, because I do think, again, a differentiator. If the New York Liberty find the way to be more consistent, which I think they can do, then the differentiator could at some point be coaching. So listen, I gotta, like I said, get this bell off this dog so she can calm down and so I can put my arms to rest. My goodness, I've been holding this dang pupper the whole show. But we know that it's a big test, and it's going to be an interesting West Coast swing. We know they've got the Aces coming up. They also have the Seattle Storm. So it will actually be Roberto Rodriguez that will be helping out and doing some reporting. And we'll also talk, of course, about that game on Tempestagi Talk, where we keep a local eye on the Seattle Storm. Roberto is also keeping up with the Seattle Storm as they take on Dallas, and hopefully getting to speak to some athletes that we might see in the World Cup for the United States and for other teams, because remember, we have a break in the WNBA season. But for Cora, Brian Florentin, we're going to get out of here. I cannot Ellie Wave. You might have to do it on your own, Brian. But we thank you again for keeping up with us on Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. We enjoy your comments live, but please do comment over the week. We respond to those. Follow us, like, share, all of the things. We really want to grow this community, and we have some things hopefully that we can bring to you soon. But we need you to participate, communicate. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you want to see more of. Until the next episode, which will be next Monday, or if you want to hop on, you can hop on Thursday as well. Brian's got something to say, and then we gotta get up out of here.
Next week, Kathy Cup.
Ooh, Kathy Cup. That's right. And listen, Vegas is getting New York at an interesting time. We're gonna have to talk about it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But all right, Ronnie, good to see you. Orthodox Moore, thanks for hopping in. Damien, thank you. So many people. Oh gosh, that's my neck. But thank y'all so much, and we will catch you on the next episode. Jingle jangle says goodbye. Peace out, everybody.